That's cool. Oh, that's cool.
So it kind of like flows down and it kind of gives it like a vibe. All right. This is our cue for the recording.
Right here. That's our slate. Mark it down.
Trif, what's good, bro?
What's good? Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We're still allowed to say Happy New Year, right? On the 8th,
Formally.
January 8th, 2026.
We're bringing in that new year, and I wanted to catch up, bro. 'Cause I feel like, I don't know, you had a year last year, and
I had a good year.
you had a good year.
Yeah.
I personally had a good year as well. I feel really good about my year, but all in all, like I just feel like it just there's times that like in the past we might have been, together more, and like maybe even those things that we were doing in those years were more intertwined, and
Right.
it wasn't as last year, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wanted to like catch up with you.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So
Yeah, 2025 was a good year. I know we were talking about earlier our words of the year, right? And my word for 2025 was patience.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, was it a year that truly tested me with my patience, with my personal life, creatively, professionally. We shot my short film Coffee this time last year, last December, and it took a little bit more than I expected in terms of editing and
the turnaround.
turnaround, post production, all that. But I asked for patience. I asked for more patience with the big man upstairs, and it was definitely a trying year, but like a trying year in a good way. My word back in 2021 was patience as well, and I felt compelled.
I remember you did say that, yeah.
To
You
make
brought
it
back.
patience again.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah. I felt like I needed to, and lo and behold, I definitely needed to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was.
I think that helped you. I think that helped you kind of, when you were changing gears through the seasons, not feeling rushed to like get certain things out when it comes to like work and it comes to like just trusting the process and the timing.
For sure.
Like definitely, I feel like I can see how having that as your focal point helped you, because like you said, I mean, when did the coffee still hasn't even been officially released yet?
No, Coffee's not officially released right now.
Done.
We're just we're submitting to film festivals right now. I showed it to a few people, like yourself, the close inner circle and people I hold to the highest regards in Florida when I was there for a couple weeks. I showed some of my friends over there. But yeah.
Yeah, so it took a year for that. I mean, it's taken over a year for that to come out.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe past you would feel some type of way about that. You know what I mean? But it's like, Alec actually is the one who told me one time, he's like, nobody knows what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, nobody knows what you're working on until you announce it. Mm-hmm. Like, until you say, hey, this is coming out at this time, or you give a teaser, nobody knows.
Right.
So it's like, it's okay to just sit on like some gold for a little while if you wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, but side note, like after watching Coffee, like it left me wanting more, where it was like that concept, that whole thing, even the character development, everything in that 20 minutes made me want to make it a series. Like, like
appreciate it.
I really want it to be a series. So I'm just kind of throwing that pitch to you right now. Like,
hey, man.
I really think that you should make that a series, if possible. Might be past the window, but maybe sometime down the line where it's like,
right.
That was like a pilot episode. That's what it felt like.
That's cool. Yeah.
And it also made me kind of want to like pitch the idea to you of just doing series, because even if you do a series of shorts, and they don't even have to relate, you know what I mean? But it's just like there's so many. There's a couple different series that I've watched that like. They're just shorts. They're just 20 minutes each episode. The next one might not even have anything to do with the other one. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like
an anthology series.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like it felt like I want more of this.
Right.
Which I think actually goes a long way to like your process and your journey like in this world. Like, bro, it still is getting better, like to me. to the point where I'm like, I want to watch this. You know, I want to watch more of this.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I mean, I think it's a lot of just how you've like really become a student of the game a little bit more. Just from the outside looking in, like you're very like you have your regiment with like how you're watching things and how you're reviewing things, and like you might have always watched so many things all the time, but at the same time, I think that you just are a little bit more routine about it, and I feel like that's like you're studying.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's coming to play. Like it's showing now.
Always a student. Always a student. You know, it's funny. With that process that you're talking about, I made myself a promise that, you know, I made the mistake in the past with prior projects that I would think about the audience first when I would write something or direct something. And now lately, because I've been in my apartment just writing a lot lately, you know, several projects, but
Just a lone time.
just a long time. And the one thing I promised myself, I'm going to make stories, I'm going to write screenplays, I'm going to direct movies that I want to do, and I'm going to put myself 1st. And honestly, like, it sounds so harsh, but it's like, forget the audience. Don't even think about the audience, you know? Because when you start working on art and it comes from the heart, genuinely, like 1,000%, then, you know, when you execute something, when you write something, when you produce something, when you direct something, and it comes out the way it was intended, as much as you could from the heart, then the audience will resonate with that.
That's the only time they're gonna resonate with it.
People resonate with genuine things.
Right.
You know, genuine stories.
Yeah.
Genuine testimonies. You know, so to your point, I made the decision to just start making the art for me and not for anybody else. And that's not even, you know, trying to sound like egotistical or anything, because I owe it to myself to create something that I feel like is important for me to express.
Right.
And especially with, you know, with the story with coffee, you know, it's a very personal story. I feel like it's a very relevant story. So whenever you know, people say all the time, write what you know. You know what I mean? Which is true in some aspects. I also feel like you can write other things that you don't know if you do proper research. But if you want a story, if you have a story to tell, then just be your authentic self, and the rest will follow suit. You know. But I've always been a student of the game, and now that I'm, you know, out of the restaurant business, hospitality now for close to 4.5 years now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to adapt to that lifestyle that you've been always like seeking. You know, it was very hard for me to leave the restaurant business and turn away from the money and just go full steam and you know, pursue what I wanted to do. And to your point, like, it took a lot of time for me to find that systematic, you know, protocol, that systematic routine for me, for my projects, or for daily living.
Because people don't realize, like, we're very structured, you know?
Right.
It sounds like, when you talk about that, it sounds like somebody who, like, did, like, I've been sober for 4.5 years now.
Right.
I'm never looking back.
Dude,
I'm never touching a bottle again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like that.
It is almost like that.
Or because when you said that, it made me think about, like how now, like, I'm getting a lot closer with God. And, like, I have felt so convicted almost. Like, I felt like, I'm like, what really made me think about that was you're like, that life that you've always been chasing. Like, you know what I mean? And, like, for me, like, I feel like that's what it is.
No, but I was just talking about, like, elevating this year, you know, on all aspects of my life. My word this year is elevate. You know, elevate my friendships with my brothers, my you know, my family, my friends. Elevate my career, my creativity, my faith. And, you know, we're both big on our faith, and I know a lot of our friends are. And like you alluded to before, you know, our Bible study group, which we got to get back to, by the way.
Yeah.
Got to get back to that.
That's a part of the elevating.
Yeah, I got to start repeating. Repetition's key for this year, I feel like, you know, being more systematic and more routine. And but I know you alluded to it earlier. I want to know about, I know we talked a little bit about coffee and all that jazz, but I want to know, what's the inspiration for serotonin, and what made you do something so unique and original. How did that come about? And you know, tell me a little bit about, you know, what is it about? What's your testimony for this project that you're working on right now?
So the testimony is, well, one, just getting to work with my partner. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got melatonin, and then when you add Serena into it, you get serotonin.
Right.
Which is also, you know, melatonin was the concept of like, you take something, it changes your perspective, your mood, like it alters your chemistry, right? Serotonin is also a part of your chemistry.
Right.
So it goes perfectly. Serotonin is like the chemical essentially in our body, natural chemical that makes us happy. So serotonin was like the perfect name as the partnership. You know, I always dreamed of like doing something together. I think she's like a great partner as far as like even being a business partner. You know what I mean? Like she'll definitely pull her own and like contribute to the overall ideas. You know, I think she'd be a great partner. We want to have a coffee shop one day.
Amazing.
Which is like gonna be more than just a coffee shop, as you can imagine.
Right.
So this was like, okay, something we've always like we wanted to do, joining a partnership, and then just the testimony of we're both having our conviction with Jesus right now. Like we're both getting closer with him. So then that came, and she was just like, honestly, like she came to me and she's like, I'm feeling like different, feeling like indifferent about like the music that I've been listening to and like just some of my lifestyle. Just characteristics, you know,
Right.
some of the things that I'm consuming. TV, this, that, the other thing. Like she won't even watch a scary movie no more. Like she don't. It's like some people might look at something like that as extreme, but like when you feel convicted like that, like you're like, I actually don't. I don't feel that. I don't resonate with that anymore.
Right.
It's not entertainment for me. You know what I mean? And so I was saying before, like I kind of had that same feeling in regards to like my career in DJing. And I truly feel like if God didn't want me to DJ anymore, he would just cut all those, he would just, you know, suffocate that completely.
Right.
There's still many avenues opening up for me. And I don't believe that he's testing me like, hey, do you feel like I'm telling you to stop doing this? You know, I'm putting that in you and you're not listening. I don't feel like that.
Right.
Although I feel like if I did feel like that, I would have full trust in just stopping. You know, even though it's my form of money, it's like, I believe he'll provide.
For sure.
But I don't think that's the case. So just the fact that we're both having that change of heart with what we're consuming and what we're doing. And then I just was just like, I was like, you know, it's funny because like I was thinking of like somehow I can, if I can incorporate like God and Jesus in my brand, and just because that's also a representation of who I am. You know, same way people wear crosses around their neck. Like, it's like you're kind of like, it's not just a thing of identifying yourself, but it's just like, this is a part of who I am. So in the melatonin brand, I want to have pieces of that in there.
Right.
And then that turned into her finding more Christian music that was like R&B and soul. And one thing led to the next, and it was like she put a playlist together. She talked about how, hey, maybe we should do something, and it's called Serotonin Social Sessions. And what it is like we can invite other people into this space, and we're so into like DJ sets at home and stuff that it's like we can do that with people for the production aspect, but also for the people who are there to receive like healing as well. Like maybe they're feeling that same way where it's like the club is getting old and you know X, Y, or Z is getting old, and I'm kind of looking for something different, something that's a little more fulfilling. You know, no alcohol involved, like something clean, like for the mental, for the spirit, like
Cleansing.
you know, but it's still communal. And it still doesn't feel like, some people don't feel like they really resonate with going to church and maybe living a Christian life, but we love hanging out with each other and we still have those similarities, right? It's not like I've cut all my friends off and I'm like, yo, like you guys don't, you know, we're not the same anymore.
Right.
Like I still, like we have these connections, you know? So it's like maybe just a little influence, just showing people something, maybe like a healthier way. And in the same way, being able to use that gift and incorporate it in the brand and also put it out there for other people so you can impact other people as well. And I don't know, you probably have seen that like Christian belief and faith is like, it's like at a peak. It's like peaking right now, especially amongst, you know, millennials and stuff like that, you know? So it's like, and it's getting to the Gen Zs as well. And it's going to keep going, you know, there's going to be ripples and waves that are happening. So it's like, damn, like this is seeming spot on with timing, and that's why it feels so much like a calling from God, where He's like instilling these things in your heart and your mind, timing, everything all fitting together. And like we went ahead and we tried our first one, and it was so cool because like there was a lot of intention behind it, but also we're not doing it for us. Like we're really doing it for God. So it's like God's gonna take control of this, like, you know. And like literally, like it does better numbers than we do on like our regular personal pages and stuff, you know. So it's like, okay, God, like, you know, go ahead, like flex a little bit, like that's cool, but you know, just use me as a vessel. So like at the end of the day, it's all those things together, and like I'm really happy about it. I feel like it could be the segue to the coffee shop, where it's like it's just building the brand essentially. Where like I would love to incorporate Christianity with the coffee shop too. I want the coffee shop to be like a listening room. Remember everything that we were talking about that one day where it was like, it had to be a listening room, and you were like, yo, you should incorporate some like Latin like pastries in there, and like all these things. And it was just like, it's just like, yes.
100%.
I want to have books in there. I want to have vinyls in there. Like I want to have like a little bit of a shop in there. I want people to just go and like receive healing. Like, that's truly what it's about for me. You know, even what we're doing now. So that's where it's at, and it's going to continue to grow.
Yeah, I pray that this project is received well and swimmingly and amazing, and I hope it gets viral. And praying that, you know, it touches a lot of people creatively and spiritually, and you're building everything brick by brick. You know, like you said, these are important components. If you were to set up the coffee shop, you know, sooner than later, it's part of the culture. It's part of the faith. It's part of the foundation. You know, people also eat with their eyes first. You know, so when they walk into that coffee shop, I already know that you're.
I love that you said that.
That you and Serena would, you know, will tackle it in that way, because first impressions are everything.
I love that you said that. That's crazy that people will eat with their eyes first.
Always.
Like come into a place to consume. It's like, yeah, well, you're also, first thing you're consuming is the ambiance, you know?
100%.
And just like ultimately, like if we keep God in the middle of it, then I know that, again, the main thing for me in life to this, like right now, is just like, is it in my purpose?
Right.
Like your word was elevate, and you're like, yo, if you're not elevating me, I don't want you around. It's like, if it's not a part of my purpose, I don't want it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want distractions and things that are taking me off course, and just adding things to the picture that don't need to be there.
Right.
Don't belong there. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Like, like purpose, belonging, like that is being the same word. You know what I mean? Like, I want it to belong in my life. I want to be places that I belong, and I want people to feel like they're a part of something where they belong.
Yeah.
Be where you belong.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's probably the word for me.
Yeah.
Is belonging.
Yeah, why not? There it is. There it is. Salute to that. That's awesome. See, this is why we do this, man.
Like me and Serena came up with our route for when we go to Arizona.
Oh, cool.
Like our driving route.
Oh, fire.
So like we're gonna go to Charlotte first, just to like I like Charlotte. You know, I think Charlotte's a dope city. And you know, last time when we came to Jersey from Arizona, we basically cut like west, but like north. Like we were going northwest, you know?
Okay.
Because I meant east. We're in the northeast. That's where we reside.
Right.
I didn't realize how north we are in the country, in New Jersey, but like we're up there.
Right.
So instead of going directly west from here and then cutting south, I say we cut south now, because I like riding along that eastern coastline, going down. Like you go through Maryland, you go through Virginia, you go through North Carolina. So we go down that way, get to Charlotte, stay like a day there, and then go to Atlanta. Just because, like, why not go to Atlanta?
Why not?
You know what I'm saying? Go check it out, go vibe out a little bit, whatever.
Hit a roller skate rink.
She actually wants to go to this.
T.I.?
She wants to go to like this jazz club actually.
Oh, cool.
Called Uncle Eddie's Attic, I think it's called.
Okay.
It's like a pretty renowned jazz club.
Okay.
I think that's super fire.
Yeah.
You go from there to Nashville.
Great city.
Never been to Nashville.
I was there recently for work this past year.
Yeah.
Great city.
You with Quavo? I meant with Offset.
Offset. No, I shot Offset in Wisconsin on a private jet earlier last year. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
That was crazy. I'm
Shout
like,
out,
yo, what?
shout out Samantha and Kat.
I think that you need to talk about like
at
more
Poolside.
things, more of those side quests that you've taken. Because obviously, like the films are a priority for you, and like what you're doing, what you're creating, but also just what you do for work now. You know, is
Yeah.
so cool, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like you get to travel to different cities when God provides those opportunities,
Right.
which is 100% off of the faith that you have in Him. Who knew that that was even an alley for people, an outlet? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yeah, you get to do production work. And I feel like you've also learned so much from that. Also, all this traveling that you've been doing. Also, I feel like is what has allowed you to like build who you are and then go internal and put out these cool things. But I feel like you don't talk about that stuff enough. Some of those side quests. You know? Like you would work for the Latin Grammys.
Latin Grammys, yeah, recently did something with Spotify
That's tough.
for a Poolside Agency.
And you were in Vegas?
I was in Vegas for the same company. Yeah, I've been very blessed to do a lot of really cool things this past year with several different production companies and all people who I consider family. You know, and that goes back to good energy and people of faith. It's amazing to work with those people and field produce for all these crazy events. And you kind of, I haven't really, since we're talking about it now, I haven't really like kind of sat back and like reflected because I'm one of those people that I just kind of go forward and I really don't look back. Because I used to kind of be like that. I used to kind of look back often, and now I really don't look back that much. And like, you forget like when you're going 100 miles an hour and you're trying to make a name for yourself and you're trying to pay your bills and pay your rent and establish a career. You do all these cool things, but like sometimes you get lost in the sauce. You get lost in life and the stresses of life and I haven't really reflected really truly on all the cool things I've done in the last couple of years. I know from shooting Duran Duran in Queens to shooting Quavo. I'm sorry, shooting Offset. For a campaign and field producing for Spotify
And being in Phoenix.
and being Phoenix. Phoenix was a great time. I traveled more this last year and a half, 2 years, than I ever have in my entire life. And traveling is so important for the spirit, And obviously it's really cool when you travel for vacation with a loved one or you just, go somewhere with the homies. But traveling for work is completely different.
Yeah.
Because
Purposeful.
it's purposeful.
Yeah.
Not that vacation isn't purposeful, but like I'm doing what I love in a different location with people that I don't know very well personally on a professional level. But when it gets to a level where like you work with these people all the time and it becomes a family, which it has at this particular production company called Poolside, an ad agency or a marketing agency, I guess you can say. These people are amazing, and like it doesn't feel like work. I know it sounds so cliche. Oh, you don't work a day in your life if you do what you love, But like it's so true. Like it doesn't feel like work. It's like, how the heck am I getting paid what I'm getting paid to be doing what I'm doing? Like it doesn't seem fair.
Right.
But it only seems that way. It's because I have dreams, I have goals, I have passions. I'm very passionate about film, and that passion for film transcends and translates into this other production work, because, people ask you, oh, who are you? Like, what are you? You're a film director, so, you must be making $1 million a year. It doesn't work like that. And I wouldn't pigeonhole myself into just being a director. Yes, I'm a director, writer, but I prefer the term filmmaker because if you're a filmmaker, you do a little bit of everything, Yeah, you might be mainly a director, writer, actor, which I do all those things, but I produce, I could first AD, I PA, I field produce for these guys when I travel with them. It's important to be a Swiss Army knife in this industry because you got to know a little bit of everything, And that's why it's important when you do hire people for your own personal films that you hire people that know what the heck they're doing even more than you do. You got to surround yourself with talented people that are better than you in their respective jobs because then you can't do the job you need to do, And you need to hold accountability for those people on set.
That's why I think that's so cool, how it really does all tie in. Like you can still feel like, you're in your world, like 100%. And then when you go and hire somebody or whatever, you can even have more grace for them because you're like, I know what that's like.
Right.
Or you can hold them to a certain standard because you're like, I know what that's like.
Right.
You're not just this guy who's just like pretentious
Right.
in that. You know what I mean? That would rub people so wrong. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, oh, this guy doesn't even know. You know, he's blowing smoke. You know what I mean? Smoking mirrors and all this stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nah, you can be real about it. You know?
And there's a lot of pretentious people in my
Yeah.
industry. I mean, there's a lot of just pretentious people everywhere in all facets of life. But the industry, the film industry, as amazing as it is, with so many great people, talented people that have a sense of community, with like, you know, Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups that talk about, hey, I got this gig. Hey, you know, I'm screening this. You know, people are very supportive, but also there are a lot of people that are not so supportive, and people that kind of, you know, I hate the term like haters, you know, because everyone's gonna have people that just kind of just talk ish, you know, whenever they
They're
want.
just not into it.
They're just not, you know, but you can't control that. You can only control what you do. And, you know, I look at myself in the mirror every day, and, you know, I challenge myself, you know, every day. And I'm not going to have another type of energy or person, you know, bring that shine down, you know. My responsibility as a Christian man is to be, first and foremost, is to be a beacon and a light for those around me, my family, my friends, you know, my colleagues, because good energy is everything. You know, you go into a film set, it's very high stress situation, or even like the stuff I do for Poolside, you know, the content stuff. Like it's very high stress. It's client based, and sometimes people don't know how to handle that stress, and they close in. So like I always want to be that vibe on set, whether I'm a PA, a first AD, field producer, director, writer, whatever it is. Like I want to make sure that the people that are around me feel appreciated, they feel loved. If there's anything I can do to make their lives easier, to make their jobs easier, to make their day easier, that's a responsibility that I have every morning I wake up. You know, Alex says it all the time, right? Like when you start your day, you take your crown off, and then you put your crown back on when you come home at night. You know, that's like, that always resonated with me. And like, even if I'm not feeling right spiritually, if I'm not feeling right mentally, you know, I try my best to be a beacon for those around me. You know, it's not easy. Some days it's like, you know, we're all human. You know, we deal with personal problems, you know, whether it's health or, you know, God forbid anything else that's, you know, catastrophic or whatever it is. You know, we go through these bumps. We go through these tribulations.
Go through it.
And I was talking to my siblings the other day. We were having a very, you know, beautiful conversation with all of us. And I had to remind them, it's like God's delays are not his denials, you know? And I feel like anytime we have a setback or something's delayed, you know, there's a reason for that. And it's all part of the journey. It's all part of the plan that he's provided for us already. And whatever that we're going through, he's already gone through it, you know? So that there needs to be comfort and solace into that. And I feel like a lot of people stray away from that, you know? And also, it also comes down to like, you know, people sometimes pray, you know, in just a specific moment in time. You know, I feel like it's very important to pray when it's good, when it's bad. You know, be grateful for all the small things, you know, because it's always going to be a pruning season. You know, you're always going to go through a battle, but that pruning season, that battle will always become a blessing. You know, we talk about it all the time, from battles to blessings.
Just a testament to that is like how you said, like, God's delays. It's like, you know, it's been a message lately where it's like God doesn't, and he probably heard it many times, but it's like God doesn't work on your time. You know what I mean? So it's like you're like, oh, this should have happened by now, or God's not hearing this, or some people are like, oh, like they don't believe in God because maybe he didn't answer their prayers or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, but he's not on your time, and you'll see why eventually.
Right.
You know, but it really comes down to faith. So essentially, you were telling your sisters, and don't lose your faith. Like, don't trust his timing. And when you go through whatever you're going through in the middle of that, like, just understand that maybe you don't understand right now,
Right.
but you will understand. You'll look back and be like, wow, I've been through things in my life just to this point that it's like I needed to go through to get me here,
Right.
to get me ready for the next thing.
Right.
There's certain things that I want that I realize that I'm not ready for.
Yeah.
I'm just plain and simply not ready for it. Even though I think that I am, but I'm not. And I can tell because I look back on times to get to this point. I'm about to be 30. It's my 30 year, you know? So it's like, I look at my 20s And I'm like, I was a totally different person then. And it's like, I could have never even been in the place that I'm in right now at that age and bearing fruit from it. Like, I probably would have destroyed it, you know?
Right.
Not intentionally.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I don't think I was a bad person then, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't have bared any fruit, unfortunately.
Right.
You know? So even like the things moving forward, you know, growing up, like, you know, just transitioning to this next part of my life where it's about, you know, I want to own property and like I'm just putting on these other shoes now every day that I wake up, and it's just like that's might be the stuff that I'm asking for from God, and it's like, but I'm not ready for that yet. He's still preparing me for that. You know, I'm about to move to Arizona, like, you know, that's gonna be something that is gonna open up a whole new world for me. I was telling you before, it's like the reason I'm not. I think I was telling you, but it's like the reason I'm not. I feel very calm about going into this year. Less of like, what's my word? Like, I didn't have a word going into this year, aside for I'm just trusting God with everything. But so I guess trust would be it. But at the same time, like the reason being is because I know this move is gonna come, unless God throws it completely off course, which hey, that might happen too. But the move is gonna be the biggest part of my year.
Right.
No matter what happens.
Right.
I could make $1 million right now. You know what I mean? Like, but if I'm still gonna make that move, like that's gonna be the biggest part of my year. It's gonna be the biggest transition I've ever had in my life.
Right.
So like I'm totally at ease with everything. Like there's no pressure to do something in a certain amount of time. Like yeah, I still have goals, but at the same time, like I'm cool with it.
Right.
Even if I move today,
Yeah.
like I'm cool with the progress that I've made here.
Right.
I just feel like it's about spending time with people. It's about being present with my people, and transitioning smoothly. Like, and that's it. I just think that I'm 100% aware aware that this is a transition year. You know, so, you know, what's on the other side of this? Different.
Yeah.
Just things that are different. The way that we're gonna, like, our relationship is gonna be different. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is gonna be different.
Yeah.
You know? Like when I look outside my window, it's gonna be different. You know, my mornings are gonna be different. Like it's almost like I'm ready to just mold myself in a different way. Doesn't mean that I'm trying to lose who I am, but I guess I am trying to identify right now, like what parts of me do I want to keep, and what parts am I willing to change.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think the majority is I'm willing to improve, you know, like change for the better. And so that's where the transition is coming now, where it's
Right.
like just slowly like getting rid of things that you don't need,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
behaviors, the way I talk, you know what I mean? Like my trust with God, like how I respond to things,
Right.
you know, like all of that is where the focus is. And then just, you know, just transitioning properly with my friends, and just also setting the expectation where it's like we're not going to be friends on
Yes.
that side of things.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like I'm just gonna, when you come and see me, when you come out to Phoenix for work and things like that, like that's when we're gonna get together, and we're gonna be so intentional. And then when we say bye to each other, we're gonna be like, till next time.
Right.
You know, and it's like, damn, like I'm gonna miss my guy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm so proud of what he's doing. And I want to get everybody over there for like work and stuff like that.
Of course.
You know, like I want everybody to be in their purpose when they
Yeah,
come
yeah.
see me and stuff like that. And you know, it just very much so feels like the westward expansion. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I want to bring you guys out there and stuff like that. So,
Right.
yeah, man. I think when we talked about it all the time, but it's like the world needs our energy. You know, and we've been here, you know, harnessing that energy in Jersey and New York area for a while, and in some ways we're like the best kept secret for in some alleys. You know,
Some might say. We have a solid friend group. We have a solid group of guys that you know, that know what they want, and you know, they're very intentional and very grateful for the brotherhood that we have. You know, this group of gentlemen that we have that have gotten close over the last 4 or 5 years has been.
it's only been 4 or 5 years, and it feels like so long.
It feels like so long, bro.
You know?
There's relationships I had before I met you guys that were, you know, good, but nothing compares to the loyalty and the ambiance, the energy that, you know, these group of guys have you know, bestowed in my life the last 4 or 5 years. You know, it's definitely a special thing. And with you going to Arizona, it's only going to make the bond stronger. You know, it'll just make the times that we spent together more potent, more special because of the circumstance of being, you know, from two opposite ends of America. But
you know,
it's
like
exciting.
things have changed like recently, just naturally. That's why I feel like I have been prepared for this moment. But we still, I think it's like a genuine, like you said, like loyalty and love. You know what I mean? Like, bro, we got closer with God together. Like, that's a covenant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's different.
It's important to hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
You know, especially in the more trying months and seasons. I know wintertime, you know, is always a gloomy time. You know, I would say like end of November all the way up to like, you know, March realistically is always such a doom and gloom type season. For the most part, just strictly just around here because the weather's cold, and you know I've been going through some doom and gloom myself, but that's just, you know, the artist in me. But you got to tap into that. You know, Cito and I were talking about this the other day. How anything negative that happens in a creative's life, if they have the awareness, it's a privilege to take those emotions that you experience and make them into a positive. You know, whether it's a screenplay, you know, like for instance, like the screenplay I'm working on now is about a prior relationship. So I harness all that pain, all that negativity, that entire experience, and now I'm making it into a positive, into a screenplay that, you know, that I resonate with, and
we get to do that as creatives. Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, when you're expressing yourself creatively with a new project, with a new idea, through an experience that, you know, broke your heart, broke down your spirit, any sort of negative way, and you flip that into a positive, and you take that source material and you create and you produce something beautiful out of it. You know, and I'm not saying if you're not a creative you can't do this, but if you're in tune with your creative side, I should say, you know, whether you're a director, a ballerina, you know, writer, dancer, you know, whatever it is, you know, DJ, actor, chef, like anything that's creative, right? You take that negative experience, you take the atmosphere that you were in that didn't make you feel so great, and you flip it into a positive for something better. That goes back from battles to blessings. It just goes right, you know, it all goes back to Christ, bro. It all goes back to the big man upstairs. As digital as we are, you know, as social media has ruined it for a lot of us, you know, in terms of communication, in terms of vanity and how we judge people. You know, one of the reasons why I made coffee, you know, was very therapeutic. You know, the swipe culture, you know, like I can't stand dating apps. And, you know, people, by all means, you found your husband on a dating app, God bless you, that's amazing. Playing games and like not being true to the situation and not being genuine and not being transparent and not communicating, I think is a very big problem these days. Like, but my intentions are pure. My intentions are genuine. Whenever I post something on social media, it's because I'm inspired to post something. It's because I watched a movie that I really loved. I'm going to put my review on my story.
Yeah, asking why.
You know, or if it's like a little photo dump or something funny, something silly, people take it way too seriously. You know, and unfortunately, you and I in a profession that like we have to have a decent social media presence because of what we do.
Right.
You know, I know managers and agents that are like, oh, you want representation as a director, as an actor? How's your Instagram following? It's like, what does my craft and my art and my talent and my drive and my passion have to do anything with how many followers I have on Instagram? Like, that's ridiculous. You know? It's such a catch-22 because there are directors out there that I hold high regards to, that I love, that I find them on Instagram, and they got like 800 followers, 2,000 followers.
Yeah, I found that at a certain point in time when I was, you know, finding new artists that I liked, producers specifically and stuff. And I'm like, I have more followers than them.
They should have more people
and it's like,
following them.
That's probably, what if you were just popular in high school? You know what I'm saying? Like, or what if like you were popular and doing something else? Like some people were popular as an actor, right? And now they decided to I don't know, like create specialty dishes. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they took that following and now they're doing this, but that following doesn't even apply to this anymore. So like same thing with like popular. It's like popularity. How'd you gain your popularity? Like I focus on like all the people that like my posts and stuff like that. They're all DJs.
Right.
They're all like, you know what I mean? Like those are like the people who see my stuff are people who are DJs.
Right.
So that's an affirmation for me.
Right.
That like I'm making the proper stuff. I'd rather that person be in my circle.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when there's an opportunity that rises, they're gonna think of me.
Right.
And they're not thinking of me based upon who's following him, how many people is he gonna bring. They're thinking about me like he fits what I'm trying to do.
100%.
Like these are more visionaries. You know what I mean? These are more followers.
Right.
How many visionaries you got following you is a real question.
Right.
Not how many followers you got.
Right.
How many leaders you got.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
Incredible. Because and half of those people are unfollowing you anyway.
Right.
You know how many people unfollow me on Instagram because I post too much movies or whatever? You think
that's perfect. I'm
and you
like,
know,
thank you.
And sometimes like I'm guilty of it. Like I'll notice somebody unfollow me. Guess what, bro? I'm gonna unfollow you because I don't want that energy. No. You know, like it's ridiculous. And sometimes people are just low key haters too. Like
Yeah.
I know I hate that phrase, but like people just like they can't just be happy for you. It's like, oh, I'm happy for you, bro. Whatever you're doing.
That's what it used to be about.
Insecurity.
And now it's become about like it's like you're like Serena was telling me that it's just like, you know, people who like know you and see you, like when they see your post, they should like it.
100%.
You see your story, they should like it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like almost like you have to earn that person's like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like I get it. I mean, hey, you can't just go around liking everything. Like you have to have some level of like
Right.
discernment in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like if I don't like it, I'm not gonna like it.
Right.
But it's like also like, bro, are you like happy for that person? Like just be happy for that person.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yes, unfollow.
Right.
Because I want my engagement to match like what I'm doing.
Right.
And a lot of things I'm working on now with my posts and stuff like that is I go to the insights and I see like how many non-followers are seeing what I'm doing. You know?
Very
like, I know a
important.
post is doing well when I got 60% non-followers.
Yeah.
And 40% followers.
Same.
Because I'm like, word, like perfect. Like I'm trying to find new people.
Right.
And what I'm doing is hitting a certain market. That's perfect. That means that 60% of my followers probably aren't even in my market.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I need it to be that in that market.
For sure.
So there's certain ways to use these analytics too that like that helps. But like it is just funny.
Yeah.
You know, it is just funny and people like, yeah, we'll judge you off of what you're like posting and stuff like that. And again, like I want to post more about God. I feel like I've lost some followers because ever since I started talking about God.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy
But
to
I'm
me.
like, yo, perfect.
Yeah.
Because honestly, sometimes you thought like maybe I'm gonna actually lose more than what I've lost, and actually I haven't.
Right.
And I've gotten actually support
Yeah.
on certain things, and I'm
Right.
like, word, like that. And then you realize, oh wait, you follow God, like
Yeah,
word,
yeah.
like you know, like I didn't know that.
People are just insecure, man. I can't control how you are as a person if you're insecure with yourself. I look at myself in the mirror every day and I know I'm not perfect, but I know I'm trying to be the best man I can possibly be and better than the day before, you know? And that's my shtick, like every day. Like just be better, be genuine, have trust within yourself, have faith within yourself. Because if you can't trust the person you are, if you don't have faith with the person you are, if you don't have love for the kind of person that you are, how can you love somebody else? How can you have faith with somebody else? How can you have trust within somebody else if you don't feel 100% complete within yourself? You know, and I feel like when stuff like that happens, they haven't hit those cornerstones personally, and that always deflects to other negative behaviors.
Right.
You know, so it's a shame.
Yeah.
But back to our point, you know, we just gotta continue to be a beacon, continue to be a light for our peers, for our loved ones, our friends, our family, and keep elevating and keep trusting the process and keep doing great things.
In the mirror every day.
Yeah,
And that's your competition.
100%.
That's who you got to be better than.
Yeah, I don't compete with anybody except for myself.
That's it. So if you're doing that, then of course you're going to be that beacon, and which I feel like you are. I feel like you've always been that way. Regardless of however you might drag your own name through the mud or who you think you were, right? All because you're trying to be a better version of yourself always. But one thing I think that has remained consistent with you is like you have been that light. Like you have that energy to you, whether it's at the production set or whether it's on our way to, you know, New York to go do something, the characters, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or whether we're just going to Red Bank to do, you know, hang out, or if we're doing a task and a job, like you have that with you, and I think that's great that like you check yourself in that sense because it's felt. You know what I mean? And I think that like that's something that you have to continue to always do.
Cheers to you, bro.
Yeah, bro.
This was some great tea time.
Yeah, bro.
Thursday morning,
Yeah.
melatonin. Great job, everybody.
The cameras, the tripods did really good.
They did.